Hi everybody, so today I'm going to explain to you how the pay scale work in the public health system. In Australia, every state has a different award agreement, and also for each health professions they have their own agreement as well. So nurses and midwives have their own agreement, and for radiographers like us, we are part of the Island Health Agreement. So the agreement is a document that's made up of 200 pages, but the one page that you would be most interested in would be the table. There are a lot of numbers, but it's pretty straightforward. So the pay grade is pretty much like a ladder, and you start something at the bottom here. So that is grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, and grade 4. There's also grade 5 and grade 6 as well, but they're more for like the manager of the medical imaging department, so we're not going to talk about that. So as a new graduate, you will start somewhere here as a grade 1 radiographer. And also within the grade, they have years as well. So typically there are 4 years in each grade. So there's grade 1 year 1, grade 1 year 2, grade 1 year 3, and grade 1 year 4. So as a new graduate, you will start from here as a grade 1 year 1, and then after a year, you will become a grade 1 year 2, the third year will become a grade 1 year 3, and the fourth year will become a grade 1 year 4. And once you hit the fourth year, that is pretty much your maximum earning capacity, and you stay in that grade 1 year 4 until you get promoted to grade 2. So if you want to go from grade 1 to grade 2, there are 2 ways of doing it. So the first way would be promotion. So say if a grade 2 radiographer has left the workplace and they're looking for someone to fill in that position, they will have a job interview for that grade 2 position, and if you are successful in the job interview, then you become a grade 2. And the other way to go from grade 1 to grade 2 will be via a step called reclassification. That will require a bit more explanation, and that's when you have to read the agreement. Then you can see how the job duties and the responsibilities are different between a grade 1 and grade 2. Pretty much grade 1 is someone who has the basic skill. Someone who is a grade 2, the expectation is that you have experience and expertise in specialties such as CT, MRI, or angiography, or you're also supervising students and grade 1 radiographers in your workplace. So say if you're a grade 1 radiographer who has experience in CT or MRI or angiography, or you feel like in your daily job you are supervising students a lot and you think that you are qualified to become a grade 2, so what you do is that you will write a letter requesting to be reclassified as a grade 2, and you send the letter to your manager. So according to the agreement, once the manager receives your letter of request, they have to give you an answer within 4 weeks. So it's not like they can ignore you and pretend that they never had the discussion with you and they're just trying to make you work as a grade 1 as long as possible. It is legally not possible anymore. And if they don't want to reclassify you as a grade 2, they have to give you a really valid reason. So from my experience, I haven't seen any cases where the reclassification didn't go through. Alright, before we go any further, you're probably thinking, do I always have to start as a grade 1 as a new graduate, or do I have to get to grade 1 year 4 before I can jump to the next grade? The answer to both of those questions is no. So you don't always have to start as a grade 1 even if you're a new graduate. So for example, some rural hospital really want to attract young people and radiographers to work in somewhere that is a lot further away from the metropolitan area. It is quite normal that they will offer a grade 2 position just trying to get you to work there. And also some hospitals are looking for permanent night shift radiographer, so they will offer a grade 2 position even to new graduates. And even though you might be in grade 1 year 2, if you are fully MRI or CT trained, you can also submit a reclassification request to be reclassified as a grade 2, because based on the definition, you should be a grade 2. The jump from grade 1 to grade 2 is pretty straightforward, but the jump from grade 2 to grade 3 is a lot more difficult. So if you read the definition of a grade 3, it's a lot more vague. So what it means is, even if I believe I should be classified as a grade 3 because of all the responsibility and the pressure and the stress that I have to deal with working in an MRI pediatric hospital, it is open for interpretation. So my manager may not agree that my experience or my expertise should be considered as a grade 3, even though I think I should be. And also, to be in the grade 3 position, you have to be in charge of something or someone. Or for example, you could be in charge of several research projects that are happening in the MRI, or you are teaching all the new radiographers about how to do the scan. People who are in grade 3 are usually educators, so for example, tutor radiographer, or people who are in charge in a particular modality. So for example, in X-ray, we have a theater in charge person, we have an angiography in charge person, we have a fluoroscopy in charge person, and also a general radiography in charge person. So now let me overshare with you about my career in the last 9 years or so. When I first got a job in the public hospital, I started as a grade 1 year 2 because I was already 2 years qualified. And then after working in general radiographies for 1.5 years, I was pushing to get MRI training. So I think I got my MRI training 3 years after I graduated. And when I was working in MRI, I found out that everybody else in the MRI team were grade 2. So I asked my manager, do I get a grade 2 pay grade now that I'm working in MRI? I was rejected because they said that I need to work in there for much longer in order to be considered as a grade 2, which was a little bit iffy because one of the MRI staff joined our hospital from a different hospital before, and she came without any MRI experience, but she was paid as a grade 2 radiographer. So technically speaking, she and I both started with no MRI experience, but she got a grade 2 and I was stuck as a grade 1. So I kind of just let it go and just kept working in MRI for a year. But then something happened. We had a new award agreement. So the agreement only lasts for 5 years. And every 5 years, the union will renegotiate for a better agreement. So not only would they ask for a better pay rate, they will also ask for an update on definitions, and they will ask for more benefits. So our new agreement just came into effect, which is the 2021 to the 2026. I know we're already in 2023, but it does take almost a whole year for the union to negotiate and to get everything approved. So the one before that was 2016 to 2020. So between these two agreements, our annual leave have gone from 4 weeks to 5 weeks. And also for parental leave, it has gone up from 10 weeks to 14 weeks, which was very nice of them. And there was another agreement before the one in 2016, which was 2011 to 2015. So between these two agreements, there was a big change, which is the implement of the reclassification. So if you compare the grade 2 definition in this really old agreement, comparing it to the latest one, you can see that the definition of the grade 2 is much more clearer and definite. So there will be no question about who can become a grade 2. So I think it was around the time in 2017 when the new agreement came into effect. I didn't know much about it and I didn't really know what to do until I heard that my other colleagues who are more junior than me, who are not MRI trained, have already gone through the process to be reclassified as a grade 2 because they are trained in CT and geography, which I also was, but they have started the process of reclassification to become a grade 2. So they became grade 2 while I was still a grade 1, even though I believe I have more skills and experience than they do. Basically, I was a bit late to the party, so I asked union to give me a hand to write a letter to request for a reclassification. It was actually pretty simple. You just list out why you should be reclassified as a grade 2, and the manager have 4 weeks to reply. Pretty much they said yes right away, and then I got paid as a grade 2. So 5 years later, I am now a grade 2 year 4. And again, that is my maximum earning capacity unless I get promoted or reclassified as a grade 3, which is gonna be very difficult, and I don't think it will happen in the next 5 years at least. So basically my career is at a dead end.